Hey, it's me again. I'm Emily. I make games for a company called Weapons Grade Funk. I brought you something yesterday about a new game I'm working on called Function, and we went over the single player rules for it, and I figured I would take the opportunity to go over some of the multi-robot rules for it. Let's check it out. Multiplayer rules are, I guess multiplayer is kind of the wrong word for it, right? It's already a multiplayer game, but this is a multi-robot version. Also comes with it, the single deck can support up to 4 players, and depending on which version of the multi-robot game you're playing, you can either get by with 3 individual robots and a single programmer, 2 to 3 individual robots and a single programmer, or 2 teams of 2, where you've got a 1 robot programmer team and another robot programmer team. So in the event of the cooperative play, which I think is the one at the top, yep, cooperative multi-robot play, the goal is pretty close to what it was in single player. You'll have a single goal, and you'll have multiple robots throughout the space that are all trying to pilot to the single goal around whatever obstacles are in there. They're all being handled by a single programmer over here who is drawing cards with functions on them to pilot those robots. Just like in single player, they're going to pull an initial 4. These probably aren't shuffled terribly well. They're going to discard anything in the initial hand that is red. Those are forced functions. Those are important later on in the game, but during our starting hand, we don't want to start with forced functions. There we go. And they're going to begin piloting robots. For every robot you've got beyond the first, you're going to add an additional card to that hand so that you've got enough to work with everybody. I'm going to assume that I've got 1 extra robot. So we have 2 robots here and a goal. And that'll be the programmer on this side. And I can start by giving each of those individual robots their own command. So this robot I'm going to say is relatively aligned with the goal. I'm going to tell you to walk to. And this robot I feel like needs to turn. We're going to say that they're over this way. They need to turn this way, so I'm going to tell them to turn right. So this robot will pivot, and this robot will walk 2 steps that way. And the second part is I have to pick a second card because we have 2 card programs, right, for each one of these. So each of them have their individual card. The second card I pick, they both have to do, right? So in this case, I'm going to say walk random. Walk random distance. I don't have a dice on me, but I'd roll a dice. We'll say they get 6 steps. Both of them are now going to execute this command. And that all goes to discard, and we draw back up again. Now I have a compulsory function. We're past the first turn, so we're going to hold on to this thing. And I'm going to say, you up here, I want you to keep going, so we're going to give you the compelled one. You are facing the right direction now, so I also want you to get going. So both of you can go forward, and they'll both go walking. And then for the single card that they both have to execute, I'm actually going to use this fetch function right here to go re-grab that random walk that I had. Toss another dice, we'll say it gets a 3, and they'll both walk in that direction. And through that process, I'm trying to navigate at least one of those robots to the goal without the other ones getting stuck someplace and continuing to error. Just like in single robot play, 3 total errors means that the game is over. So multiple robot play is kind of like the challenge of the programmer to assemble functions that will allow at least one of their robots to reach the destination without causing the other ones to error out so many times that the whole game collapses. That's about it for cooperative. One of the things that you probably saw on the table there was a blast function. I actually needed to take those out before we started cooperative play because that's specifically for competitive play. Comes with the deck. I just didn't fish it out of there before we started the demo, but now we can go over those.